Good morning. This morning we got a little treat. I don't make these very often, but I love them. Fell in love with them over in England. And I don't know why, here in America, nobody makes crumpets. So this morning, we are making crumpets. They're really easy. There are different variations to them, but for those who aren't familiar with them, they're not really like a biscuit. They're almost more of a pancake texture, but they're delicious. So let's get started. For the batter, in here, I've got 2 cups of just all-purpose flour. I've already got 2 tablespoons, or not tablespoons, I've got 2 teaspoons of yeast in 1/4 cup of water. So we are going to add a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of sugar. The sugar is optional. You can use more, you can use less. Another thing that's optional is vanilla. If you want to throw, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon or so of vanilla in here would just be excellent. I'm not putting any in today. So we're just going to give that a stir. Mix up all our ingredients. Let's throw in our yeast real quick. I already had that proofing, obviously. Proofed in about 105 degrees, between 105 110. And I warmed up my milk just because, doesn't make sense to warm up your yeast to proof it and then throw cold milk on it. So I warmed up my milk to about 105 also. In there we're putting in 1 2/3 cup of milk. And we're just going to give that a good stir. All nice and mixed up. I love these things. They're kind of like, if you ever go to McDonald's and get the, I think they're called McGriddles. They're kind of like the McGriddles. So if you put vanilla, or you could probably even put some maple syrup in them, a little bit of maple, would make them taste just like them. Alright, might be trying to decide if that's too thick. Maybe just a touch more water. Or that was just barely a touch of water. And make sure you splatter it around everywhere, because, we can't cook without making a mess. All right, that's about perfect. Just want your batter so, after it drips back in, it disappears within a couple seconds. You don't want this too thick. So we are now going to let this rest. You want to let it rest about 15 minutes. Let all that yeast and baking powder get to activating in there, and Get that good old carbon dioxide because these turn out so light and fluffy. And we'll be back in 15 minutes. Okay, we're back. Yeah, it's been about 19-20 minutes or so. I've been letting my batter here. I gave it a few extra minutes. It's a little cool in my kitchen, so it didn't my batter didn't raise or proof up the way it should have. So it took just a few minutes. Just want to get to where you're seeing the carbon dioxide bubbles just somewhat coming through. And I got my pan heating up. You want to use like a medium low heat to make these. You want them to cook a while. So take your rings. If you got rings, that's about the only way you're going to do this. I'm not even sure where I got mine. I've had them about 5 years after I learned about them over in England and came home, and that was one of the first things I did was buy some of these rings. And they're cheap. I think I paid a couple dollars for them online. I just don't remember where you can get them. Probably a Walmart, I'm sure. Ain't nothing to them, but I also use them for doing my eggs when I make breakfast sandwiches. Let me wash my hands. All right, so we put a little butter around the rings. I'm gonna use a 1/4 cup measuring thing. Maybe just a tad bit of oil. You know what? I ain't gonna use oil. Here. You squirt a pan. You don't want to fry these. You don't want them to be greasy. But you don't want to fill these cups either because this is going to raise a lot. Put a scoop in each. This batter seems to be just a slight bit thick right now. We'll cook these first ones and may have to thin the batter just a hair. Shouldn't be that thick. It was set up a lot more than I thought it should have. Now, we're going to give these just a few minutes. Yeah, where's my other tongs? Yeah, they're buried. And I'm going to I don't know if you can, probably can't see that. Notice if you can see the little bubbles forming on the top, just like a pancake. When those bubbles dry out, starts getting a little dry on top, a little bit. You'll see how the edges around them are set, and then you can pull those rings back off, and when it's ready, you're not wet on top anymore. Then you can flip those over and do the other side. think that one's ready. You know, they cook like pancakes. I'll give those just another minute. It looks like these are ready. Oops. Missy on that one. These only take, I don't know, 2 minutes a side. 2 minutes one side, 1 minute the other side. Something like that. I'm dropping stuff on the floor again. Oh, it kind of got a little funky on me. Let me just that one's ready. Pan must not be quite. That one right there just isn't quite getting her done. That one's ready. And what I usually do is when they come out, just butter the top. You just have to move that to where you can't see now, can you? Just butter the top of them. There we go. I'll leave that on. I'm just going to show you what we got here. That, my friends, is a crumpet. They're so light. Ooh, hot, hot. They are hot. Ouch. Try this again. Give me half a second and I'll show you what the inside of that crumpet looks like. Oh, see if you can look how fluffy and light and airy these things are. I mean, they are just absolutely delicious. So light and fluffy. And I was telling the wife, I think if you just thin your batter out just a little bit, put a teaspoon of vanilla in there, thin your batter just a little, these would make an awesome pancake. I did try them once with gravy. Don't use them like biscuit and gravy. They suck that way. Don't do that. But about the best way to enjoy these now, throw a little strawberry jam on that. You're in heaven. You're in heaven. So that, my friends, is a crumpet. Happy cooking.